Our story begins in Las Vegas, 1960, a city on the verge of great change. It was fast becoming the #1 gambling and entertainment destination in the country. And the story of its phenomenal growth needed a soundtrack. Those are some pretty ominous looking clouds, but I'm not going to let it rain on my parade because right now I'm on my way to meet the composer of hits such as Mad Men and of course Vegas. He's the man behind the music, and it's pretty exciting. In fact, when it comes to music set in 1960, David Carbonara seems to have a corner on the market. Hey. David! Jason O'Mara, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Jack Lamb.
Jack Lamb in the flesh, yeah, that's right.
Fantastic.
The man behind the music of Vegas. Very excited to meet you.
Yeah, I'm going to say I grew up in the 60s. So there's a lot of 60s in me.
Well, you know, David Carbonara, the way we found him was we were doing the pilot, and Mangold was assembling his cut, and in his cut he put a Carbonara cue, a library cue that Carbonara had done.
As a music editor in New York, one of the directors I worked with was Jim Mangold, who directed the pilot of Vegas. So I emailed him. I said, I hear you're doing Vegas. Love to be a part of it. And I sent him some of my music.
I immediately responded to it, and people kept on trying to put other cues in, because we hadn't hired Carbonara. He was just a composer out there, and people kept on putting other cues in, and we kept on going, no, give us Carbonara. We want Carbonara.
And then you have to do this audition process, where they give you, if you're lucky enough, you get this next step, which is here's a few scenes. Do what you would do. And I did the Roundup. I did The Arrival, Savino getting off the plane. And I did it when Ralph and Catherine meet for the first time.
Hello.
Good morning, Catherine.
Ralph. Jack.
Catherine O'Connell. Haven't seen you since you left for New York. Thought we lost her for good.
Oh, you got me back. I missed the dust.
Actually, those cues ended up in the pilot.
Some music is suggested by the writers that comes in the draft, and we look for it, clear it, would come up with alternatives that are out there, you know, because you go to standards and there's, you know, literally dozens of versions that are out there. So we want to get one that has the tone and feel of what everybody's looking for in the scene. On post, when stuff is stuck in afterwards, we've got a lot more flexibility because we try it out. We have the scene, we lay it down, we see what it looks like, and, you know, change it.
Where would you have music come in, do you think, then?
Well, I think you need something at the beginning when Lamb comes in. I think there's a bit of High Noon going on there when Lamb comes in and Savino's there. Maybe there's a tense undercurrent going.
Then there's a gear shift.
Do you want to hear me out or not?
Well,
yeah.
You're going to send your guy out.
Once he sends the guy out, could pause for the moment, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We decided to make a very clear distinction between the mob and the sheriff, musically. So I try to keep to that, where the mob has its sound, Savino and those guys, and then, you know, the deputy and the sheriff and the Lamb brothers all have a different kind of sound. So this is a distinct change. This is like one example of the piano, dark, ambient. One of the piano motifs I use. That is actually all I need, you know, and whatever else goes underneath, you know, I can change that and everything. But if I just reference that occasionally, that's all. That says Savino to me.
David's score is amazing. It really fits perfectly. It fits the era. without being too overpowering as well, and it sets a tone for what you see on the screen.
You about done?
Music comes in two levels. We have the pre-record music that we pick out a song ahead of time. We hire an actor or an actress, and they come in and perform the song, and then we go live on set and play it to playback. And then the rest of the music comes from needle drops that we pick. John Houlihan, our music supervisor, auditions literally dozens, if not hundreds of songs for every particular place in the show.
John, you're a music supervisor. What does that mean?
I look at myself as kind of the air traffic controller of a team effort. Everybody from our screenwriters to our producers to our film editors and even sometimes our cast. Everybody's got great musical ideas, and it's my idea to help sort them out, and I certainly have my fair share of decent ideas that make it into the shows, and just make it all work.
Can you explain to me what source songs are?
When we talk about source songs, what we're talking about is something that we're licensing, a Frank Sinatra song, or a Peggy Lee song, or something that exists that we have to go out and license.
Really, every episode we get to produce, one or two songs. We hire musicians, a orchestrator, and singers, and we put on a show every week.
On the back half of the last 8 episodes, almost every single episode has a performer. We have magic, we have, contortionist acts, we have jazz combos, we have big bands, we have can-can dancers, and those characters then become part of the storylines themselves. They become integrated and they appear in other spots of the stories.
These guys have a magic in laying out music that just evokes the period. I find music it's like the second writer on the script.
David Carbonara, in one of the episodes that I co-wrote with Jim Adler, when Jack has just killed Rizzo, the father of the woman he loves, the way that the score supported and reinforced his tension, even, the way that the strings make you feel his frayed nerves. I mean, in a very visceral kind of way. I mean, that score really brings it to life in a way that I am in awe of.
It's a compliment people don't notice the music, because if you watch that scene without music, it just wouldn't be as effective. So, but they're so wrapped up in the drama, and part of the reason they're wrapped up is because of what I do. But I know people don't even notice the music. I'm saying, well, if you took it out, the scene would play differently.
You just want the flavor, just that little feather dusting of sound.
I wanted our show to be a show for people who are music fans to go, what was that song?
Well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed meeting some of the people behind the music of Vegas. Thanks for watching.